Welcome to this week's edition of Springdale Today, where we feature some safe driving tips, get a chance to know the school board president, Kathy Mcfetridge, and have a wonderful interview with Hartzell Jones, who's saying goodbye to the Springdale District after 44 years. You're going to enjoy the program because if it's now, it's Springdale Today. On our first segment today, we're going to take a look back because a couple of years ago, a tragic accident took Becky Patterson from this life. But every year, Allstate sponsors a contest involving safe driving tips. The Pattersons have taken a disastrous event in their life and turned it into something that maybe will be helpful for people in the future. Watch this.
Over 6,000 deaths and 500,000 injuries are caused by distracted drivers every year.
In 2009, 5,474 people were killed in the U.S. because of distracted driving.
Every day in America, 27 people die from distracted driving.
46% of drivers under the age of 18 admit to texting while driving.
48% of young drivers have seen other people text while drive. On September 3, 2010, Becky Patterson was involved in a fatal drunk driving accident, including another car under the influence of alcohol. Her mom, Becky Patterson, became active and raised awareness about this cause and rapidly spread the word of how serious distracted driving can be, and reached out to other families that has been through the same experience and helped those families by encouraging them to stay strong and let them know that they are not alone.
Well, my life was impacted when I was a senior in high school at Fayetteville, when our class president was killed in a car accident when he reached down into the floorboard to grab, back then it was a cassette tape, and he was killed instantly. And that, you know, as a senior in high school impacted my life, and now as a mom and I'm almost 40, I still remember Matt and the impact that had, and the way that it affected me personally, my driving. And so after our daughter was killed in a vehicle accident, we were given the bittersweet platform and created I Choose Hope. And one of the focuses of that nonprofit is to bring awareness to young people about distracted driving. During the past 2.5 years, we have continued to be blessed by hearing stories from students and parents and people in the community who have shared that that by hearing about our daughter's accident and the fact that life is so precious and that it was taken away in just a split second, you know, we have continued to receive emails and messages and letters. And it has been incredibly encouraging to see that people are actually taking the tragic death of our daughter and changing the way that they live their lives. We've received messages from people saying, I am going to never get behind a wheel when I've been drinking, or I shut my cell phone off now when I get behind the wheel, and thank you for sharing your story. And so we know that Michaela's death was not in vain, and that we obviously believe that there's a bigger purpose, and so I feel like it's very important to just share the message and to continue to speak out. My husband and I were motivated to reach out to the community. We personally have an incredible faith in God, and our belief is that we're going to see our daughter again. And we know that because we live in a fallen world, there are going to be a lot of families that are going to be impacted in the way that we were by losing family members. And we felt that it was incredible for us to have the opportunity to say, you can make a difference. You can prevent something like this happening in your family, in your circle of friends, by making smarter decisions and being wise when you get behind the wheel of a vehicle. So we were blessed to have the opportunity to share that message.
Other social media sites such as Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube are powerful tools for marketing and promoting brands and companies. But these sites can also be used to bring awareness to promote safe driving and help reach people from around the world. Facebook has many safe driving pages and groups to help raise awareness for safe driving. Twitter has accounts and hashtags dedicated to promoting safe driving. Sites such as YouTube are powerful social media outlets using video to showcase the growing problem with distracted driving. The Allstate Foundation created a way for high school students to get involved in promoting safe driving through keepthedrive.com.
To find out more information on what the Pattersons have done in this area, you can go to ichoosehope.org. Next up, a visit with the school board president, Kathy Mcfetridge.
True to its Christian heritage, Ozarks prepares those who seek to live life fully, those who seek the richness of life provided by the study of liberal arts and the quality of life provided by professional preparation. We provide a uniquely supportive, academically sophisticated, and challenging environment on a beautiful campus adjacent to the Ozark Mountains. Our first priority is the education of students who come to us from diverse backgrounds. The University of the Ozarks.
Next up is a feature on Kathy Mcfetridge. She's the president of the Springdale School Board, and she's been a school board member for quite some time. She and her husband, Bill, own Ozark Film and Video. They've been great for the community for many, many years, and of course they do sponsorships, commercials for clients all over the country. In fact, right now I'm standing in the Bill Mcfetridge studio even as we visit today. We hope you enjoy this up-close look at a pillar in the community, Kathy Mcfetridge.
This week on our Springdale Leadership section, Kathy Mcfetridge, treasurer of Ozark Film and Video Productions and a school board member, unfolds her story on how she was led to her position today.
My role here is treasurer. I'm actually the treasurer of our organization, and I just do a little bit of everything. I think, you know, when you have a small business, you can't just usually do one certain thing. You've got to do kind of everything, and that's what we all do here. We have 8 employees, so we're very small.
Because her husband, Bill, was offered a job at 4029 News in Fayetteville, they were introduced to Northwest Arkansas.
Well, how we ended up in Springdale is the TV station Channel 40 opened Channel 29 up in Fayetteville, and that was back in 1979, and they moved us up here. So my husband was the production manager at Channel 29 up in Fayetteville. And I'd met a lovely girl at the hospital. I worked at Washington Regional at the time, and she was from Springdale, and she talked about Springdale all the time. So when we moved up to Northwest Arkansas, we just wanted to be in Springdale, and so it's worked out really well for us.
Her and her husband quit their jobs when they decided to pursue their own film business.
It was something my husband really wanted to do, and like I said, I was working at Washington Regional, and he was working at the TV station, and then he decided to start his own business and said, I really need you to help me. So I quit the hospital, and he quit the TV station, and we started working together, and that was back in 1983. So this is our 30th year to be in business, so we're excited.
As a family business, they had become successful in helping the community to communicate and promote its businesses.
We really started with commercials and then did more corporate communications as we grew. And one of the big things that started the longer productions was the Chamber of Commerce's around Arkansas and Missouri. They started doing more promotional videos about their communities, and so they would hire us to do those. So Bill, my husband, would travel all over shooting different communities, and so it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and I went with him on some of those, and sometimes we made a family trip out of it, and so we got to take our children. So it's really been a really family business all these years.
Presently, the Ozark Film and Video Productions are working on safety videos and expanding their business.
Right now, we are, like I said, working with the energy industry, and a lot of their communications with their employees is all about safety. And if you know anything about the energy industry, it can be very volatile. So safety is really a key for them, and that's really important. And we now actually have a studio in Houston also. We work with the energy industry quite a bit down there.
She expresses what the variety of awards they have received has meant to her and her family.
I think when you get that special recognition that you've done a good job, it really makes you feel good, and it makes you really want to be even better. It's like, what can we do better next time? What can really be exciting next time? And to keep challenging yourself. You know, I think even at my age, and you've got to keep studying, and you've got to keep learning, and you've got to keep growing, because if you don't, somebody else is going to catch up to you and pass you up.
Her first reason for being part of the school board was her interest in being involved with her son's education.
My boys were little and they started elementary school. I really wanted to be involved with what they were doing. And having our own business, I was able to do that because, like I said, I could be here for a little while and then run over to the school and help. So I helped as a homeroom mother, and then became involved in the PTA and became the PTA president. And then I had other people really encourage me to run for the school board. So I ran for the school board and was elected. The first time I ran, I lost. So I think, you know, it's always good to, I think my message there would be is keep trying. If it's something you really want to do, keep trying. So I lost the first time I ran, but then I won the second time, and so then I've been on the school board.
For SPS TV, I'm Crystal Hernandez.
Kathy Mcfetridge is a great asset, not only to the Springdale School Board, but the entire Springdale community, and we hope you enjoyed the chance to get to know her a little bit better. Now we're going to give you a chance to know someone else better too. He's retiring from the Springdale School District after 44 years of service. Right after this, you'll get a chance to meet Hartzell Jones.
In today's world, it's tough to stand out from the crowd. That's why I'm earning a graduate degree from Pittsburgh State University. My professors understand the demands of today's workplace. Pitt State's online and evening courses allow me to schedule my classes around my life. And I love the Guerrilla Advantage program because I'm able to attend school at in-state tuition rates.
It's your career. Take control of it. Big dreams, big ideas, big careers start at Pittsburgh State University.
If you've lived in Springdale in the last 4 decades, surely you've seen him around town. He's a delightful man. He's been the deputy superintendent for the last 30 years, a former principal. How about this visit that you're going to enjoy with Hartzell Jones? Welcome to the administrative segment of the program today, and we have a special treat for you. We're going to talk with Hartzell Jones, who's got more experience than anybody in the entire Springdale School District. And Hartzell, you've been serving as deputy superintendent of the schools for many, many years.
Yes, sir.
Tell us first of all, how'd you get involved with education in the first place?
I went to college, College of the Ozarks, and I think I was inspired by my high school basketball coach to seek a career in coaching. So I went to college with that in mind, and then my first job was coaching and teaching at Gentry, and I was there for 3 years, and a position came open in Springdale at Southwest Junior High, so I went there as a teacher and coach, and I was there for 4 years, and then I went to Springdale High School, an assistant football coach and assistant basketball coach for 5 years. Went back at Southwest as assistant principal for 2 years, and then was promoted to principal for 3 years. And then in '83, I came to the central office as deputy superintendent. So this will be my 30th year in that position.
Wow, it's amazing. Now you got in it for athletics. Do you miss coaching?
Yes, yes, I do. I love coaching, and I love working with the kids and the strategies involved and all of that. And so I do miss working with the kids and the strategy involved in coaching. I don't miss those long yellow bus rides.
Well, when you walk in Springdale High School, and they've got pictures from all the decades in there, and the picture from the 60s, there's Gerald Williams and there's you. You're on that coaching staff. What was it like to coach with Gerald Williams?
Oh, it's phenomenal. Obviously, everybody knows he's one of the best football coaches that we've ever seen in the state of Arkansas. And it's amazing how he could just make a small adjustment in a student's play that would affect the entire outcome of a play or even a game, perhaps. And you could see that with his coaching, and so it was just a treat for me to get to work with him in practice and even on Friday nights as well.
Now, Hartzell, when you look at that picture, you only see a handful of assistants, and today every staff's got 8 or 9 assistant coaches. How did you all do it back then?
Well, there was 4 of us. Gerald was the head coach and then 3 assistants, and And we just didn't have the specialty coach positions like they do now, where they have one for linebackers and defensive tackles and so forth. I had the offensive line when I was in that position, and so I had all the offensive line, including the tight ends and so forth. And then we did a lot of work around the field that the maintenance crews do now. Gerald mowed the field pretty much every week, and we'd go out and help line the field and put the markers out for the end zones and so forth. And one year we repaired the goalpost. We took down the old goalpost and put up a new goalpost. So we just did those things, and it was expected, and we didn't think twice about it.
Now, as much as you love athletics, and you still do today, it had to kind of be difficult for you to move out of athletics, even though you wanted to go into administration.
It definitely was difficult, and that's why I still miss it, I guess, because I didn't get it out of my system. So I've tried to just keep my interest in athletics in other ways. But yes, when I made that decision to go into administration, I had planned on doing that at some point in my career, and when opportunities come available to you, you hate to pass those up because you never know when another opportunity may come. So even though you're not quite ready to get out of coaching, the opportunity is there, so I thought I should take it instead of waiting for another chance.
What did you enjoy about administration as soon as you stepped into it?
Working with the teachers and the kids, and coaching and teaching those years. I worked with kids all the time, which was great, and I loved that. But as administrator, you get to work with teachers, and that was a treat for me as well, because we have so many great teachers in Springdale, and so I got to work with them and coach them as well as previously coaching the kids. I can now help teachers and so forth, and so that was a treat for me, just working with those teachers, which I'd done as a colleague, but not as one of their mentors before.
So you went back and forth from junior high to high school to junior high to high school. As you look at the kids in those age groups, what's the biggest difference you saw?
Basically just their maturity level. The kids were all very, very eager to learn. They were very coachable. They would do whatever you would ask. And I taught driver's education at the high school as well, so that was a different experience with that age group. But again, those were great kids that they were eager, and they respected their teachers. They respected the education process, and that was true up and down the line, whether it's junior high or high school. So I never had a preferred grade level. I love seventh graders, and I had a basketball class one time, third period, with 75 seventh grade basketball players in it, and I had a ball that year with those 75 kids.
That's great. That's wonderful. There's so many unusual things about you, Hartzell, when you think about it. One is you're married to another assistant superintendent. Now, what's that like? Because at home, you're husband and wife, and then you sit in those staff meetings on Monday, and you have to separate that a little bit, don't you?
Yes, and we knew that when we first got married that would be an issue, and we made a vow that we'd make it work, and because it's up to us to make it work. And so when we come home, we have family business, and that's the way it pretty much stays. And my wife is very intelligent, and I definitely respect her opinions about everything. So when she has a different opinion than mine at the office, I respect that, and I realize that she's probably right and I'm wrong. So I do not ever think that she doesn't have the equal voice to me, whether it's home or at the office, either one.
Well, Hartzell's wife is Dr. Marcia Jones, and she is a brilliant woman. I'd love to hear some of the intellectual conversations you must have at home sometime. What are the deepest subjects you talk about, Hartzell?
Oh gosh, we don't get into too deep conversations. Sometimes about just family things, about what to get the kids for Christmas and those sort of things, and we don't talk about money or anything like that. So really the conversation at home is more relaxed than it is at work.
That's really good, because I figure these, as good as you all are, if we could put you in political office, you could probably solve a lot of those problems. Would you ever miss trying that?
No, probably not. I do like to be involved in problem solving. And again, I think Dr. Jones, she's involved in so many community activities. She's well known in the city, and so I think she has more of a political side than I would.
She's well known even in Washington, isn't she?
Oh, yes, she is. Absolutely.
Well, we're visiting with Hartzell Jones. We hope you've enjoyed this segment with Hartzell, who's the Deputy Superintendent of the Springdale School District. He's retiring at the end of this year after 40 years in the district, and we'll be back next week with segment 2, and we'll be back with more of this program right after this.
When I grow up, I want to be a doctor.
When I grow up, I want to be a music teacher.
When I grow up, I want to be a counselor.
When I grow up, I want to be a future NBA player.
The Springdale Schools, dedicated to our students, dedicated to our community, and dedicated to excellence. The Springdale Schools, building future leaders.
Thank you.
Every week following our program, you can watch Springdale District News, put together strictly by students in Trent Jones District TV class. They do a great job every week. And this week, one of the features is on Dr. Don Love, who, like Hartzell Jones, is leaving after a long time in the district. Here's a little clip from what you're going to see on Springdale District News.
I do enjoy going out to the schools and interacting with students.
Well, that's a great teaser for what's coming up next, so I hope you'll stay tuned for Springdale District News and see that feature on Dr. Don Love, among other things that the students cover this week. That's it for us this week, so remember, if it's now, it's Springdale Today.